Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth. Today we are going to be continuing on with the auspicious series of Beguiled into Armageddon. For some reason, the evil ones, the supposed higher up elites, don't want this information to get out here. But this is video number 39. And I'm testing the waters here, but if I have to make an appeal, I will, and I will just put what I did the first time, and hopefully the appeal will pass. Pinecone universally symbolizes pineal gland. We are on video number 39 of Beguiled into Armageddon book. While Yahuwah has unlimited powers, Satan must use what he can counterfeit to interfere. As mentioned earlier, Satan's royal lineage does this by glorifying the pineal gland, right in the faces of those who are unaware of his evil devices. An image of a pineal gland is carved on architecture dating back to Noah's flood in the form of a pine cone on top of a rod. In fact, this same image is scattered around the world, with references to this pine cone being nature's symbol of achieving communication with the spiritual world. Pine cone imagery is found displayed on objects used in all pagan religious worship from ancient Babylon to present Roman Catholic circus. To the present Roman Catholic circus. Interestingly, the symbol was featured as the breast of Nazi Germany's eagle emblem. It also appears as the breast on Freemasonry's double-headed eagle, a symbol of regeneration or cloning. Eastern religious practitioners of Kundalini and yoga have over the centuries used wands, having pine cones on top with serpents wrapped around these wands, lustfully gazing at it. These wands were first called, I don't know how to pronounce this, Thyrsus, Thyrsus wands, and eventually were referred to in the field of medicine as Caduceus. Caduceus. In fact, such a rod or wand was used for divination against Yahuwah's will and is mentioned in the Old Testament. My people inquire of a thing of wood, and their staff gives them oracles. Hosea 4:12. Wands and rods, as well as meditation, drum beats, ELF or elf waves, and using one's own tongue to stimulate the soft palate to vibrate the pineal gland, have been used throughout centuries to commune with Satan's lower spiritual realm. Sorcery accomplished through psychotic drugs like tranquilizers has been known to induce altered states where people literally hear voices in their heads and even see ghostly figures. These voices and spirits always have an evil agenda. Many times they tempt their out-of-control victim into finally killing themselves or others. Disruption of certain brain chemicals will produce voices in one's head just like a radio being played, which they cannot shut off and no one else can hear. Countless numbers of individuals over the years have been confined to mental institutions and mercilessly electrically shocked trying to stop such voices. What these people really needed was deliverance from evil, but in most cases they were given more drugs, which continued the vicious cycle of demonic attack on their pineal gland. The truth about a functional antenna in our head has been kept as a great secret. In fact, those sent to mental institutions were used as human guinea pigs to learn how such evil was invoked. They wanted to know how transmitted waves were received by the brain so our military could eventually develop technology to harness it and then use it on an unsuspecting enemy. Many of Hitler's German scientists led the way in developing our present field of psychiatry. They kept truth hidden about pineal gland functions, except to their secret elite. For years, Germany's evil experiments have paved a way for an anti-Mashiach to wield great power over humanity near the end of days. Satan's entourage knows how to cloak by bending light backwards so it changes its resonance to improve pineal antenna performance, making it less likely to suffer interference. Such evil technology can indefinitely keep pineal glands globally tuned to only Satan's station. A mark having a matrix of nanowires embedded in a chip near one's forehead can function like rabbit ears on an old television set to lock on and maintain Satan's broadcast against their will. Blocking and or controlling wavelengths ensure that once Satan traps your antenna, he keeps you. Right now, Project SSSS, Silent Sound Spread Spectrum, is believed to be a military experiment secretly using sound waves sent through HDTV and fiber optic cables. If so, items with fiber optic connections are in most homes and may silently already be biologically affecting your brain while watching your every move. Satan likes controlling humanity without their knowledge and causing them to lose their souls without firing a shot. Any silent information being sent through satellites to TVs or directly to a person's brain sets up hypnotic control that can force one's body to do something they would never do. Once the pineal gland is opened, using a certain vibratory state, it can be maintained opened for continuous transmission. Free will is suspended at this point, with such high-tech jamming producing only robotic responses like typically seen in a Manchurian Candidate. There is no biological ability to stop outside of the body stimuli from being received when the pineal gland is open because the person is in a waking dream, or better yet, la la land, and being remotely controlled. Oh, my tea almost spilled. Because this is a hot topic right here. The push toward world health care will require everyone be marked with a chip. Low-frequency chips already planted in some people voluntarily as well as animals are being tracked by satellites universally. These chips, along with newer models hitting the market, include antennas with the ability to transmit and receive millimeter waves as well as terahertz radiation, allowing scanning capability to track the person's image without producing serious health concerns. Even Freemasons promote their C, H, I, P chip program that takes DNA photos and fingerprints of children, all in the name of safely finding them if they are kidnapped or become lost. Come on. Who doesn't watch their children enough where they're gonna take off and escape? When my child took off and escaped on me, I found her within 10 minutes. When she was 3, she wanted her snowsuit from her grandma's, so she tried to go get it. Craziness. It amazes me just how naive people can really be, because this data will quickly be used in eventually marking these kids. Such tracking is going to become a lot more high-tech in the near future because humans possess individualized DNA with bioelectrical resonance radiating from their pineal gland like a beacon. Your personal beacon forever marks you and only you. The unique process of connecting to an individual's beacon claims to have been done on astronauts so their emotions and thoughts could be recorded every day while on a mission. If NASA can observe astronauts 24 hours a day in space, know their thoughts and whereabouts, just imagine what is being done to people on Earth in the name of surveillance. On the other hand, if mankind can track thoughts, then Yahuwah, our Creator, observes so much more with His unlimited power. You might run, but you cannot ever hide from Yahuwah. Satan wants to possess that same power so he can totally control you, and those days are right around the corner considering what NASA has accomplished. In an article, Views About Remote Viewing, MUFON Journal, October 2011, page 4. Janice Curry reports on a DNA research study by Grazina Fossar and Franz Bludorf that indicated DNA is influenced and reprogrammed by words and frequencies. She goes on to report these researchers found that living DNA substance reacts to a language, modulated laser, ray, and even to radio waves if proper frequencies are used, thus explaining the effectiveness of affirmations, autogenic training, and hypnosis. Curry further states that 2 Russian scientists found that our DNA can produce magnetized wormholes, which information can be transmitted outside of time and space. Our DNA attracts these bits of information and passes them to our consciousness. The pinecone-shaped pineal gland was heralded by Confucius, Buddha, Taoists, and even I Ching as home to spiritual light. It was called Eye of Shiva by Hindu mystics. Hinduism's supreme god, or Elohim, Shiva, has a cobra wrapped around his neck and a pitchfork in one of his many hands. The cobra is said to represent wisdom, just like the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Like a noose, the serpent is slowly choking the life out of its followers because his fruit brings death. Satan is always offering tainted wisdom to keep mankind from communing with Yahuwah, so he can consume your dead flesh as dust and throw your soul into hell or Sheol. He knows the golden bowl is our forehead, and our silver cord were designed to connect our ruach to our Creator, or our spirit to our Creator. Ecclesiastes, the preacher, explains this vital connection. Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit or ruach shall return unto Yahuwah who gave it. Ecclesiastes 12:6-7. John Wesley, 18th century Anglican evangelist, explained how the silver cord, golden bowl, fountain, and cistern are biologically a part of the human body. These are his exact words from this book. The silver cord. By the silver cord, he seems to understand the marrow of the backbone, which comes from the brain and goes down to the lowest end of it. And this is aptly compared to a cord, both for its figure, which is long and round, and for its use. So the silver cord is our spine. Okay. I'm sorry. Which comes from the brain and goes down to the lowest end of it. And this is aptly compared to a cord, both for its figure, which is long and round, and for its use, which is to draw and move the parts of the body, and to silver, both for its excellency and color, which is white and bright in a dead, much more in a living body. This may properly be said to be loosed or dissolved, because it is relaxed or otherwise disabled for its proper service. And answerably hereto by the golden bowl we may understand the membranes of the brain, and especially that inmost membrane which insinuates itself into all the parts of it, following it in its various windings, keeping each parcel of it in its proper place, and dividing one from another to prevent disorder. This is not unfitly called a bowl, because it is round, and contains in it all the substance of the brain, and a golden bowl, partly for its great preciousness, partly for its ductility, like a tear duct, that's how it's spelled, ductility, being drawn out into a great thinness or fineness, and partly for its color, which is somewhat yellow, and comes nearer to that of gold than any other part of the body does. And this upon the approach of death is commonly shriveled up and many times broken. And as these clauses concern the brain and the animal powers, so the two following respect the spring of the vital powers and of the blood. The great instrument thereof is the heart. And so Solomon here describes the chief organs appointed for the production, distribution, and circulation of the blood. For though the circulation of the blood has been hid for many generations, yet it was well known to Solomon. According to this notion, the fountain is the right ventricle of the heart, which is now acknowledged to be the spring of life. And the pitcher is the veins, which convey the blood from it to other parts. And especially that arterious vein, the artery, by which it is transmitted to the lungs, and thence to the left ventricle, where it is better elaborated, and then thrust out into the great artery called the aorta, and by its branches dispersed into all the parts of the body. And the cistern is the left ventricle of the heart, and the wheel seems to be the great artery, which is fitly so called because it is the great instrument of this circulation. The pitcher may be said to be broken at the fountain when the veins do not return the blood to the heart, but suffer it to stand still and cool. Whence comes that coldness of the outward parts, which is a near forerunner of death. And the wheel may be said to be broken at the cistern when the great arteries do not perform their office of conveying the blood into the left ventricle of the heart, and of thrusting it out thence into the lesser arteries, whence comes that ceasing of the pulse, which is a certain sign of approaching death. Bible Crosswalk Commentaries, Wesley's Explanatory Notes. And then I'll leave the link in the description box for that. I know my channel is for Nazarene and Hebrew beliefs, but I am just using this book to teach you guys about what the elites are doing to us. And I felt it was so important that I had to share it one way or another, even though not all my subscribers have came to this channel yet. I just really feel like this is the most important information to get out to you guys right now. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuwah and the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth.
Get the ball, I'll pass, look at the burn.